Hello everyone, and this is the fifth video of the series about Orbiter 2016 Spaceflight Simulator Beginner's Guide and Basics. And today we are looking at going to do something, like going to the ISS. So today we are heading for the ISS. And it will be about maybe 3 videos, I think. It's really not that complicated, but I'm really looking forward to showing you how to get to the ISS, because it's pretty cool. And you know, when you dock with the ISS, it's kind of warming. It's kind of cool. So, but today we are using the Delta Glider, the add-on, the Delta Glider 4, because it has the autopilot, which is pretty easy to use to start with. But if you don't want to download this add-on, I will also do a tutorial on how to get to the ISS in the standard Delta Glider. So where we don't use the autopilot, because the standard Delta Glider don't have the autopilot function. So let's just get straight into it, and let's go to the Space Tech Company scenario. So we're gonna use everything that we have learned from the past 4 videos. And let's see. And here we are in our Delta Glider 4. So what's first? Well, we need to close the nose cone by pressing the K button. And then this is just the very basics. We don't have to calculate anything. We don't have to look at any MFDs right now. Let's just jump straight into it and get up in orbit. So what we need to do now is that let's press the control and down arrow. And as I said before, we need a heading of about 42 degrees, because it's about 42 degrees we want to have the heading at when we want to intercept with the ISS. So we're going to use the autopilot Pro 904, which means that this is the hover ascent, and then spec 42, because that's the launch heading that we want. So press enter and we are ready to go. We don't have to look at any MFDs right now. This is just the basics. It will be a little bit more complicated, and we will also calculate the launch azimuth when we're doing a manual ascent into orbit. So let's just execute and get into orbit. But for a first video of getting to the ISS, I think it's more easy to just use the autopilot at first, and then we will go on and do a manual ascent into orbit and just add some layers of
engaging turbo pump.
Extra things to get it a little bit more complex, but also more realistic. So we have the heading of 42 degrees. And let's switch our projection to ship. And in this video I think of going to, let's get up into orbit, and when we arrive in orbit it will automatically, because it's the autopilot, it will automatically circularize the orbit and make a stable orbit, and then we're going to align our planes, and that will be this for this video. So this is very simple. This is just the autopilot. So we just took off from the Space Tech Company. We used the autopilot function Pro 904 spec 42, pressed enter and execute, and now we just have to wait until we get in orbit so we can start aligning our planes. So this is pretty simple so far, because we don't have to do a manual ascent where you have to do more things simultaneously. So, but this is gonna be pretty exciting when we dock with the ISS. So yeah, but the next video we're going to do a manual ascent into orbit to catch up with the ISS is going to be a little more complicated, as I said, because we will also try to arrive in daytime, you know, when the sun is shining on the Earth, the side of the Earth where the ISS is located above the Earth. The surface of the Earth, so which means that we will dock in daylight. Now we can't say that we will dock in daylight because this is just the very basics of going to the ISS. But next time we will calculate the launch azimuth, you know, the heading, and we will also make sure that we arrive in daylight so we can dock in daylight, which makes the docking a little bit more easier. So.
Okay, auto GPS advance the backup.
But yeah, this video is going to be just what we learned from the past 4 videos. Just going to orbit, and it will automatically circularize the orbit, and then we are going to align our planes. So in the next video we will start to do something that we haven't introduced, which will be syncing the orbits and make sure that we arrive in daylight, or no, not that we arrive in daylight, that will be another video, but yeah, we will synchronize the orbits and do some other stuff to make sure that we catch up with the ISS, which is going to be all new, so that's gonna be exciting. Okay, so we're almost in orbit, and we will soon start to align our planes with the one of the ISS.
Houston, Discovery for step 4, LDRI TBC, you command at sync. Copy. Steve, are you returning with anything? Yeah, get ahead,
Ascent completed. Go ahead, Tim. All parameters nominal.
Okay, so now we have a completely stable orbit with the eccentricity of 0.0000, and we have a very stable orbit, very circular orbit. It can't be more circular. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to align the planes with the ISS so that we can meet up with the ISS eventually. So press the select button and go to align planes. Then of course target the ISS, go down into spacecraft, and then target the ISS. And then we can see it's pretty high because we didn't do something at the start, but this is just the basics, so let's not worry about that. We can do that in the next video where we do a manual ascent. Then it will get a bit more complicated again. So let's go press F8 so we get this, and let's go into, because we are going to the ascending node, this is us, the R projection, and the ascending node, that means that we are going to go into anti-normal, and go press the linear thrusters so we have translation if we need to adjust just a little bit. So let's just time warp a little bit. And let's fire our engines. Alright, so let's go around again to the ascending node once again, and then complete the last bit of relative inclination. So let's time warp again, and then just a little before go into the anti-normal, because we're going to the ascending node, and let's wait a little bit. And we can just start doing it now. So let's just fire the engines. Okay, so now it just goes up. So let's use translation. The 9 and 6 button on the numeric keypad. And the relative inclination is now 0.00 degrees, which means if we bring up the map MFD that we are on course with the orbital path of the ISS. Yeah, so we are laying exactly on top of ISS's plane. So that's very good. So that was it for this video, guys, and this is just one of the maybe 3 videos about going to the ISS. So see you in the next video, guys.